is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with some Detroit Lions free agency news, man. We're here with some breaking Lions news, so let's get it started. Welcome, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here, and I'm going to do my best to keep this thing as short and sweet as possible, to get this video out as fast as possible. But with that being said, we have some breaking news for the Detroit Lions. And, man, if you're a Lions fan, which I'm sure you are because you're watching this video, as a Lions fan, if you've been a Lions fan for just, 5+ years, this has to make you super excited. The Detroit Lions are signing receiver Marvin Jones Jr. to a one-year deal, reportedly worth $3 million, up to $5 million, potentially, I would assume, with some incentives there. One-year deal for Marvin Jones Jr. He is back with the Detroit Lions for the first time since 2020. Oh my goodness, this has me hyped. Look. Okay, Marvin Jones Jr. is 33 years old at this point. Okay, so we kind of understand maybe that this isn't like the long-term solution at outside receiver. If you don't remember what's happened to Marvin Jones, well, Marvin Jones Jr., after his time with the Lions, he was outstanding. He came from Cincinnati. He was a big signing for the Detroit Lions. Remember, at the time, he was kind of pairing with Golden Tate, and he was huge for us. The ability to take the top off, the big plays that he gave us. My favorite play from Marvin Jones Jr. with the Lions, I think it was a Thanksgiving game where he caught it like double covered, took it from both dudes, then ran into the end zone. That guy signed a 2-year, $14.5 million deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars after that 2020 season. And it was huge for Jacksonville. I mean, his numbers took a dip this past season as he kind of fell into a little bit more of a complimentary role as they really just overhauled that receiver unit. They paid big money to Christian Kirk. They paid big money to a guy like Zay Jones. Now Ridley is coming back after his suspension. So they overhauled that receiver position really this past year. And because of that, Marvin Jones Jr. didn't become like not part of the offense, but his snap counts dropped. He only started in 10 games according to Pro Football Reference, even though he played in 16 of them. So his statistics also dropped off as well. But he was really big for Jacksonville in that 2021 season because for Trevor Lawrence, who at the time was a rookie, he was that reliable piece that you were just like, I know where he's going to be. And I can remember watching games in 2021 of Jacksonville and seeing Marvin Jones because he had a fantastic season. Statistically speaking, 72 receptions, 832 yards, 4 touchdowns that season. Now, he had an 86.6 passer rating when targeted, and also that dropped a little bit this past season, according to PFF, 74.4. His statistics went down to 46 receptions, over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, which is actually kind of similar to what DJ Chark put up because of the games that he missed. But for Marvin, again, he came a little bit less of a piece of the offense because of some of their new additions. And again, he's not going to be like a long-term solution for the Lions, but Dan Campbell made it clear when he was speaking at the owners' meeting that this was something that the Lions were going to have on their radar. After losing DJ Chark and having him sign with the Carolina Panthers, he's like, yeah, this is something that we're going to be aware of. Now, I don't think this takes off the table the Lions drafting a receiver because, again, he's not a long-term solution. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I've went through so many of receivers at this point, and it's hard. I'm looking for guys. I've been looking for guys personally. I thought the Lions would look for maybe a little bit more of a possession guy, but an outside receiver that has the size, the skill set, but he's got reliable hands. I'm like the Lions, they're losing some of that. They're losing some of that reliability guy that you can really trust, and it's hard with that as a rookie, but we don't say this very often. I feel like this receiver class is a little bit lighter, especially at the top when you talk about outside receivers. There's not like a ton of clear, like, oh, that guy. Like even Quentin Johnston, you really question his hands, and that's not good because that's trait number 1 as a receiver. But Marvin Jones Jr., I think, brings a lot of that back, and that's kind of what he was for Trevor Lawrence in that first season is just, I can throw it with anticipation before you're out of your break because I know you're going to be where you're supposed to be. He may not be the top separation guy. He may not still run the 4.4 640 that he once ran coming out of college, but he is a reliable piece, man. I'm so excited to dive into really what he has done with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, long-term solution probably isn't Marvin Jones, but you keep in mind, Josh Reynolds only has 1 year left on his deal. And when you speak about reliability, he's played at least 16 games each of the last 3 seasons in the NFL, which is huge because then you look at our roster and you look at guys like Cephas and you say, okay, we can play on the outside, but what is the reliability there that he's going to be on the field? And when you want to move around and match a piece like J-Mo, even Jamison Williams last year, he was coming back from something. You would expect him to take this big league. He was your first-round pick, so you have to buy into that. But you also keep in mind that when you saw him, it wasn't like, man, that guy's truly a top receiver. He's going to beat one-on-one coverage more often than not. He didn't look like that. Even off the release, he still showed some struggles. So with that being said, you want reliability on the outside, and as Dan put it, you can never have enough of these guys. But I think a couple of important stats are this. We're losing DJ Chark, who 80% of his receptions basically went for first downs. If you look over the past 2 seasons for Marvin Jones Jr., in 2022, 63% of his receptions went for first downs. 2021, 57% of his receptions went for first downs. So it's at a lower rate, but he's still a guy that can attack you in the intermediate range. I mean, that's what I see. Even when you look at his passing charts, I mean, a lot of things kind of happen towards the sidelines, towards the numbers, and maybe a little bit more of that will be over the middle. But we even saw with the Lions, some of his slot usage go up a little bit. Can immediately step in, and you can just rely on him with Marvin Jones Jr. And also, you're getting the great character of Marvin Jones Jr. We know what he was off the field for the Lions, how he was as a player for us. I mean, he's going to fit like a glove to the culture. You're not getting any kind of off the field issues, nothing like that. It's great to have Marvin Jones Jr. back. He was great for the Lions when we had him, but I think that's what the Lions are getting, and he's still averaging over 11 yards per receptions these past 2 seasons, so he's still that threat, and occasionally he'll give you the big play, but the intermediate, the ability to attack and work the sidelines, like, this is huge because I was really questioning where the Lions would go with this. It's tough. It's tough when you look at the draft board and you're like, where do we go at receiver? But I think, again, we've talked about so many moves the Lions have made to open up flexibility in the draft. This does that once again for the Lions. And I think this one's crucial because, again, when you look at this market for receivers in this upcoming draft and what I thought the Lions may be looking for now that they don't have DJ Chark, while this maybe isn't the speed guy that Chark was, Lions have Jamison Williams, you want a really reliable outside receiver. And it was kind of questionable when I'm looking at this draft, right? There's a lot of questions, especially when you're looking for a guy that also has the size and he's not a slot. But Marvin gives the Lions, I think, a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a stopgap, but he gives us some reliability at that position. And plus, it's Marvin Jones, dude. I mean, who doesn't want this guy back? So Marvin Jones Jr. is a Detroit Lion. I want to dive into his film to see more about what he's done recently, but I can just tell you by the name alone, I'm excited for this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.